think that someone else has the keys out there, that there's a warden. Please come open my cell and let me out. Not realizing that we all hold the keys to our own freedom.
So find a way to
Hello beautiful light beings, my name is Monica, and in today's video we're going to be talking about how to break out of your mental prison. So originally I was not planning on telling you guys the story behind how I came up with this realization, because it just doesn't put me in like the best light, especially as a spiritual person. But I am human, I do make mistakes, and I still have my struggles just like everyone else. And I know I've shared very personal, kind of vulnerable things about myself in past videos, but the difference for me was those things that I was talking about was usually pretty far in the past, but this one is very, very recent. But anyways, I digress. Let's get started. So last Friday, I had kind of a stressful day. I had a lot of things going on. And the day before, so Thursday, I had gotten a glimpse of what it was like to be in 5D energy. If you don't know what 3D, 4D, 5D energy is, I'm not going to go into it in this video. I will make a separate video talking about that and what that is. But if you do know what it is, you'll know what I'm talking about maybe. If you don't, you might just want to look it up real quick and then come back. So anyways, I had gotten into this energy flow of 5D frequency. I thought I knew what it was before, but I realized I didn't until I actually was in it. And I was feeling that almost all day on Thursday. And then on Friday, it felt like it went away. And I was back to like going back and forth between 3D and 4D. And I got really down about that on top of like my stressful day. And so that night, I decided to have a few drinks. And I don't drink very often or very much. Alcohol for me usually makes me feel sick right away, so I discovered that pretty much I get a hangover almost as soon as I start drinking, versus other people who can drink like all day or all night and then the next day they have a hangover. And I'm a lightweight when it comes to drinking because I don't drink very often, and I've been trying to cut it out completely, but I haven't gotten to that point just yet. So we had some like peanut butter whiskey in the house, which I know may sound gross, but it was actually really sweet and I like sweet things. So anyways, I had some of that and I mixed it with like oat milk, and it tasted almost like a milkshake, like a peanut butter milkshake. And so I think I had maybe like 3 of those, so like 3 shots. And after that, I was like feeling, kind of drunk, and I was just super tired, and I decided to go to bed. And I almost couldn't go to bed because of how crappy I felt. Like I was already like hungover. And I finally did go to sleep. And I forgot to say also, when I was in the state of mind on Friday before drinking, I was just like, well, if I'm not in 5D right now, if I'm in 3D and 4D, I might as well go back to my 3D, 4D ways right now and do what I usually do. Like I ate some junk food and I had some alcohol, But anyways, after I finally fell asleep, I woke up at like 2:30 in the morning. And I was laying in bed feeling miserable, like so hungover. I was nauseous. I was dehydrated, like so thirsty. I felt like I was starving, and all I wanted was some really greasy food to like make that feeling go away. And I just couldn't get comfortable. I also had just woken up from a nightmare, so that was like 2:30, and so like my adrenaline was kind of going, and on top of all those symptoms I just told you I was feeling, and I had a feeling I was not going to be able to go back to sleep, so I wasn't going to try to force it. I didn't feel like watching a movie or TV or reading or surfing the internet. I didn't really feel like doing anything. So instead, I decided to close my eyes and start meditating while I was just laying there. And then as I was meditating, I got this huge download. And it came more in the form of a vision, which for me, I feel like I'm not super visually inclined. Like that's not one of my strong psychic abilities with the, I don't even remember what it's called. There's like the clairs, clairaudience, sentient, clair something something. But anyways, what I saw in that vision was me placing bricks down. Like I was building a foundation or building a, it was like I was building something, like building a building. That's kind of weird to say. And this building was like a prison. And the prison was in my mind. And I know this sounds kind of strange, so I'm going to try to articulate it a little better. So what else I saw was like a matrix within a matrix. And if you don't know what a matrix is, or you haven't seen the movie in a while, I'm going to let Morpheus explain exactly what the matrix is, because he can do it better than I can.
The matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window, or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage. Born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind.
So the matrix is a prison for your mind, right? It's something that's not tangible. And the matrix within a matrix I saw was, I was in this prison that I had built around myself. And then outside of my personal cell, I guess you could say, was the actual prison where everybody else was in their cells that they had built for themselves. And what I realized was each of those bricks that I was laying down in my own cell were made up of limiting beliefs. All of the limiting beliefs, such as I am not worthy because I am not pretty enough, or I am not good enough, I was born in the wrong family, I didn't have the same opportunities as other people, as my peers, I can't do this because I don't have enough money, and I can't make enough money because I don't have enough skills, or I don't have enough the right education. All of these limiting beliefs that we develop over a lifetime. As children, we're free. We're so free. We don't have those limiting beliefs yet. It all starts at a different age for people. And as we get older, it builds and builds and builds on top of each other. And I hope you guys are still able to follow me so far. Of course, I'm speaking metaphorically in a sense when I'm talking about this prison. And what I noticed is everybody had different size cells that they had built. Some people had smaller ones, some people had bigger ones, some people had taller ones. And the thing about these cells is that people are actually very comfortable in them. Imagine having all of these kind of luxuries or things that you like to do or have being in that cell. Like all the creature comforts, you've got all the kind of maybe junk food you like, you have TV and unlimited channels or streaming, you have social media, you have a comfortable bed, you have a comfortable couch. So it really doesn't feel like there's a need to leave the cell. It is super, super comfortable. And some people's cells are decorated more and maybe more considered more beautiful or aesthetically pleasing. But it's still a cell, no matter how comfortable or beautiful it may seem. Then I started thinking about lockdowns. And I know it's different, state to state, city to city, country to country. But I know of a lot of people who have put themselves on house arrest. They refuse to go anywhere, and they haven't gone anywhere for months. There is no one physically outside of their house or inside of their house keeping them on house arrest. They've done it to themselves. They've let the fear of mainstream media and maybe their peers or whatever outside influence not only put them in a mental prison, but also in a physical prison. The fact that so many people are keeping themselves on house arrest and locking themselves down without any kind of physical restraint is actually pretty incredible. That's how powerful the mind is. That's how powerful brainwashing is and programming. And then we have some people who start to wake up. They start to question things. They start to follow their intuition and do what they believe to be right. And now that they're awake and they've stepped out of their cell, maybe they're going to their friends or family or someone they're close to, they go inside their cell and they're like, hey, this isn't real. This isn't a real prison. We don't have to stay here. We have the choice to leave. No one can stop us. Let's go. Come on, let's get out of here. And that person that they're talking to is like, no, what are you talking about? Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? This is it. This isn't the prison. This is comfortable. This is my house. This is my world. This is everything. And you're telling me to just leave it? I'm not going to do that. And not only am I not going to do that, I want you to leave, and I want you to close my cell door behind you and go back into your cell and just be obedient. Do what the government tells you to do. Do what the news and the politicians tell you to do. Don't follow your own intuition. And that's when we realize that on our spiritual journey after we awaken, not everyone's going to come with us. Not everyone is going to level up their consciousness and expand. That doesn't mean that we can't ever talk to them again. If you're still on speaking terms, you can definitely go and visit them and you can still spend time with them. But they're not ready to leave their cell, and they may never be ready to leave their cell. And sometimes when you step out of your cell and you're wandering around the confines of the outer prison, their other cellmates will be like Mr. Smith in The Matrix. They can be anyone at any time. And if you try to step out of the bounds of what is considered normal and what the popular opinion is, they may try to push you back into your cell again. Like, what are you talking about? You're crazy. You're out of your mind. Actually, I am out of my mind. And I'm living more from my heart space. And the Mr. Smiths will bully and peer pressure you to conform to what they believe. Because the outside world told them to believe it. Even if they don't truly feel it to resonate with themselves. But as you've awakened, you've decided that you want to see what's outside the prison walls. You know that there's something bigger, better, that's waiting for you. That's going to be more in alignment for you, even though you don't know exactly what it is. And it's scary sometimes. It's scary to feel like you're the only person who's leaving the prison, and you're leaving all of your friends and family behind in there, because they can't see it, even though you can see it. And on the outside of that prison is freedom. And freedom is whatever that looks like to you. Maybe it's your dream life. Maybe there's an ocean out there. I love the beach, so mine would be tropical by the beach. Maybe you like the desert. Maybe you like the mountains and you like skiing or snowboarding. And once you get outside the prison gates, eventually you're going to come across other people who've also awakened and have came to the same realizations that you have, or at least similar. Doesn't have to be all exactly the same. And that's when you start to find your soul tribe. People that you feel like understand you. People who know what's beyond the prison because they escaped themselves. And there may be some people on the inside that you do lose, in a sense, that you don't resonate with them anymore, and your vibrations don't match, and you just don't mesh like you used to, and you don't hang out with them anymore. But everything that you feel like you've lost is going to be replaced by something better, something more in alignment with the new awakened you. The people who are meant to be in your life will be in your life. The people who aren't will fall away. Then I started thinking about the alcohol that I drank in the intention of escaping from this mental prison that I was not even aware that I was in, of my limiting beliefs of what I could and couldn't do. Just all beliefs that were keeping me stuck and confined in such a small space. And then I thought about everyone who uses drugs or alcohol, TV, junk food, gambling, porn, anything, any of those vices. We use external vices to escape these mental prisons. We think that these things are going to free our mind. And in some ways, they do. But it's very temporary. You may change your vibration, but then you're going to come back to what it was before. I know that alcohol resonates at a pretty low frequency. I don't remember exactly what it is. I think it's like 100. So for some people, they're higher than that, and when they drink alcohol, it lowers their vibration. But if you're so low, below the 100, alcohol can actually bring you up a little bit. And then weed, I think, resonates at like 300, maybe. And if you're below 300 and you smoke weed, it's going to bring your vibration up. If you're above 300 and you smoke weed, it's going to bring it down. So what we're really trying to do is, like I said, we're escaping our mind, and we're trying to change our internal vibration, whether it be conscious or subconscious, to just feel differently. Sometimes it's not better, just to escape and feel differently than what you're feeling at that current moment. And what we're doing when we use these vices to escape temporarily, it's almost like we're on, I don't know what the actual term is, maybe like work release, when someone's in prison but they get to leave for a day or for a couple days or something to do something with work, and then they come back. Maybe it's a different term, I don't remember. That's kind of like what these distractions are when we're trying to escape. It's all mental. It's all in our mind. It's not a physical escape. So a lot of times people will be sitting at home and they'll just be thinking, man, I wish I could travel more, or I wish I didn't have to work at this job that I hate. I wish I wasn't in this relationship, but I don't know how to get out of it. You know, all of these things, these limiting beliefs that make us feel stuck in our lives. I can't do this because of that. I'm not good enough. I'm not valuable enough. I'm not smart enough. Again, those bricks that make up our prison that we don't even realize are there. So we keep telling ourselves this story over and over again, usually through our subconscious thoughts too, that are habitual every single day. Not knowing that we are in this prison of our mind that we have built for ourselves. And what we want is someone else to save us, to break us out, to change our lives, to give us $1 million so that we feel like we're free. We want someone else. We think that someone else has the keys out there, that there's a warden. Please come open my cell and let me out. Not realizing that we all hold the keys to our own freedom. Freedom looks differently for everyone. They have their own definitions. Freedom for some people may be living in America, because a lot of people say that the US is a free country. And so they think that being an American symbolizes freedom. For some people, having a lot of money, being like a millionaire or a billionaire, is financial freedom, And that is freedom to them. For me, it was, I want a full-time RV and I want to travel the country. That to me represented freedom. And for others, it may also mean to not physically be incarcerated at a jail. That's freedom. For others, it could also be that they feel free to be themselves in the sense of how they express themselves, free to say what they want to say, do what they want to do, and they're not so limited or fearful of what other people think. All of these are definitely versions of freedom, but even with those things, it's still not complete freedom until you have freedom of the mind. This is something I just discovered because I didn't understand that when I stopped working a regular job and my time was my own and I could do what I wanted, why I still didn't feel completely free. I wondered when I started full-time RVing, and I've seen so many amazing places and met some pretty cool people, why did I not still feel free? Freedom is the number one thing that I crave in this lifetime, in all aspects of the word. And this vision, this download that I had the other night showed me my mental prison, and I became free. So now I want to share with you what helped me to free myself from my mental prison. The number one thing was realizing that I was in a mental prison. You can't break out of something if you're not even aware you're in it. You just can't. I feel like I heard some kind of quote that went along the lines of, the best way to keep people a complacent slave is to make them think that they're free. So awareness, number one thing. And then the awareness of those limiting beliefs. I had to look at the wall. I had to look at all of the walls. I had to look at all of the bricks. I had to discover what my limiting beliefs were. And the best way I found to do this was by meditating. I know it's one of those things that we talk about all the time. Everyone talks about, especially in the spiritual community. And I never really took meditation that seriously before. I would do it off and on. I was never consistent with it. I didn't really felt like at the beginning I was getting anything from it. So I just kind of stopped. I didn't make it a priority in my day. And what I've been doing consistently for the last, I want to say like 2 weeks, is I meditate for 10 to 15 minutes right when I wake up. So before I scroll on my phone, before I make breakfast, before I do anything, I get out of bed, I come to the living room, I sit up straight, close my eyes, and I don't try to control my thoughts. I let everything come and go, and I just observe it. Because with our subconscious thoughts, we don't even know that they're there. We're unaware of them. They're below the surface. And they're happening like thousands of times a day. And we don't create space to be able to actually identify what they are. They're just on autopilot. And I also like to meditate 10 to 15 minutes before I go to bed. So this is when I'm done with everything. I'm done cleaning, I'm done washing my face, doing my whole routine, brushing my teeth, absolutely everything. And the last thing is I go back to the same spot I meditated in the morning, put on a timer, sit for 10 to 15 minutes, close my eyes, and then go to bed. And when I'm in bed, I'm not on my phone again, I'm not doing anything. I'm just relaxing and laying down until I fall asleep. And I know a lot of people will say they don't have time to meditate. I definitely was one of those people. But it doesn't have to be 10 to 15 minutes. It can be even 5 minutes once a day. I think it's especially powerful right when you wake up or right when you go to bed because your brain's in a different wave state and you're more receptive. It's easier to start to notice those thought patterns that come across. And I know meditation can seem very difficult for people. Like I said, I don't believe you need to stop your thoughts or try to control your thoughts. There's a saying that's like, I don't meditate to control my thoughts, I meditate so my thoughts don't control me. And that I find to be so true. So just observe what's going on in your mind. The other thing that I've been doing is grounding and becoming very present in the moment, which was one of the things I've struggled with for a long time that I just could not figure out how to do. Meditation definitely helps me to become more present and more aware, so that's kind of a twofer. Another thing I realized was that a lot of our energy goes in our mind, in our head. In the head, it can be very ego-based. And what I discovered to become more present is I needed to put this energy into my heart space. And the heart space is in the body, not the head. So sometimes I like to visualize sending energy from my head all the way down throughout my body and specifically to my heart. And during meditation, sometimes I'll put my hand over my heart because that helps me feel the energy flowing there. And sometimes I'll just do it randomly throughout the day. Whenever I feel like I'm getting too caught up in my thoughts and I'm feeling anxious and I'm feeling ungrounded, then I stop and remember, put my hand over my heart, visualize energy going through my heart chakra. Another thing I like to do is I will like kind of squeeze my hands like this, and I'll curl my toes like at the same time. And that helps to bring awareness in my hands and feet, which also brings energy back into the body. And then at the same time, I make sure to consciously breathe as I'm doing it. You know, just breathing, body. You can also send energy to all parts of your body. You can start with like your toes, like your left toes, feel energy, right toes, feel it, like bring the sensation, almost as if you were about to move that body part, but you're not. And then you just feel it all the way through your body. It is so grounding. And there are definitely other ways you can ground, like putting your bare feet on the ground. I'll link my video about ways to ground up above. Those might be a little bit more involved and may not be as convenient as the techniques I just shared. So this is something you can do to ground even if you can't like put your feet on the ground. Let's say it's frozen outside or you live in an apartment or something. This is just a lot easier technique and you can do it all day, every day, as many times as you need to. And eventually it just kind of becomes automatic until you spend the majority of your time present in your body. And any time that you feel caught up in your head and the ego, you can bring it back down to the body, back to the heart chakra space. Alright, that is my video for today. Hope that was helpful for some of you. I know it might have been a little difficult to follow along because I was talking metaphorically, but then also literally at some times, and I'm just going to trust that whoever this message resonates for is going to understand it and it's going to help them. Thank you guys so much for being here with me and spending some time with me today. I really appreciate it. And until next time, I will see you all in the next video. Bye everyone.